When fat loss progress stalls, the problem isn't intake anymore. The problem isn't more appetite suppression. The problem is energy handling. And this is where MOTS C comes in. If you have any experience with Retatrutide, you know that eventually fat loss will slow down. It wouldn't stop, but it's not going to be as aggressive as it was when you first started. This happens because of metabolic adaptation. Your body is adjusting to the compound. You aren't burning as many calories as you were burning when you first started it. And the calorie deficit you had when you first started the compound compared to now, it's shrinking. This is all physiology. Most of the time, people do one or two things. Either they increase the dose or they add another compound on top of Retatrutide in order to get the experience they had when they first started running the compound. You should try to determine what can you do to make the compound more effective. In my opinion, MOTS C, for many people, is a missing piece. MOTS C will help with the metabolic adaptation you experience, but it doesn't help everyone. Let's get into a brief understanding of Retatrutide. Retatrutide doesn't do a few things. It doesn't address how efficiently your cells handle energy, how insulin sensitive your tissues are, or how well your mitochondrial adapt to stress. Retatrutide controls how much fuel comes in, not how well the engine runs. And this distinction matters when it comes to stacking Retatrutide with MOTS C. Most stalls happen because metabolic rate adapts, your energy output quietly drops, and your energy expenditure decreases without you even knowing it. When fat loss progress stalls, the problem isn't intake anymore. The problem isn't more appetite suppression. The problem is energy handling. And this is where MOTS C comes in. MOTS C isn't a fat burner. It isn't a stimulant. It isn't a compound that's going to suppress your appetite. It's a mitochondrial signaling peptide. It influences AMPK activation, fuel selection, cellular stress response, and energy efficiency under load. Think of it as a context modifier. It changes how your body responds when fat loss conditions already exist. The compound gives no immediate feedback, but MOTS C isn't about sensation, feeling something because you're on it. It's about adaptation. If you are not creating metabolic stress, training, dieting, moving, there's nothing for MOTS C to amplify. Now, here's where stacking makes sense. Retatrutide creates a calorie deficit. MOTS C helps with preserving energy output and reducing metabolic shutdown. So this stack only makes sense if your appetite is already controlled, your intake is already low, and your fat loss has slowed despite compliance. I need to be very clear. This stack isn't for anyone whose appetite isn't under control. MOTS C will not override bad inputs. It will not compensate for inactivity. It won't speed up fat loss just because it's mitochondrial. If you fit any of the descriptions I just mentioned, all you are doing is adding costs and not leverage. Here's some more uncomfortable truth when it comes to MOTS C. Nobody knows the human dose for MOTS C. Animal doses are huge relative to human doses, and human data is pretty much non-existent when it comes to this compound as far as what the dose should be. All of this means is that more isn't automatically better, less isn't automatically useless, and long-term daily dosing is speculative. This is exactly why MOTS C should be treated as experimental when you are actually using it. Not saying that it doesn't work, it actually has its place, but the compound is effective if you find the right dose that suits you. And it's not gonna break you by running it. The question should never be, should I stack MOTS C with Retatrutide? The question is, and it always should be, what's limiting my fat loss right now? Hunger, Retatrutide already solves that. Adherence, Retatrutide already solves that. Then stacking or using additional compounds are unnecessary. If you ask that same question, if the answer is fatigue, low output, metabolic slowdown, or long-term dieting adaptation, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, then maybe MOTS C belongs in this conversation. Retatrutide controls intake, MOTS C influence energy handling. These compounds together, they don't overlap, they don't replace each other, and they aren't magically okay for everyone to stack. If you stalled, metabolic adaptation happened despite doing everything else right and you can't move any further, then yeah, MOTS C should be a part of the discussion. This is all about optimization. So if this video helped you in any way, if it put any clarity around on when you should stack MOTS C and when you shouldn't, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll check you guys later. Thank you.